That is, the New York Yankees are the biggest, most powerful brand of sports franchising in North America. There's nothing bigger.
Yeah, and
you've got to give him credit for that. There's no doubt about that. But the only one he kept rehiring was Billy Martin.
Right.
Billy Martin kept telling him to fuck off.
5 times.
Yeah. And Billy Martin was a good manager. He's a good guy to rehire.
You know what? Funny thing, he called me a big Billy Martin once when I told him to fuck off.
Well,
where did you run into him, Phil? Over the hockey? They were partners.
Oh, yeah. The Japanese would not put their money in unless I came up with a $1 million investor from the Tampa Bay area. The only person I knew down here was George. I had met him many, many times in New York. He and I sort of got along. We got along. And then I made the mistake of going to him and asking him to invest in the team. And from that moment forward, he tried to take over, and he fucking ridiculed me, called me names, and I threatened him once, and that's when he called me the Big Billy Martin, because I threatened him.
What, physically?
No, he never threatened him physically. He just told him to go fuck himself.
Oh, I don't know. Phil, what did you...
And I told him, Frankie, he was at a board, and we were at a board meeting with the Japanese, and he called me a fucking womp in front of everybody, and that did it. But sometimes when people call you that, it's the way they call you it. He was malice in his voice. I packed my briefcase up and walked the fuck out of there. And the guys came back and said, Phil, boy, George is really mad. I said, I don't give a fuck. If they don't want to invest, I don't want that prick around us. And he didn't. The Japanese threw him out.
Well, I'm glad you stood your ground, and I'm glad you stood because it was your brainchild, and you know, Phil, you're very modest. But I heard from a lot of reliable people, and I heard from Ted Ziegler Jr. because I met him in Detroit when the Detroit Red Wings were playing the Stanley Cup Finals against the Philadelphia Flyers. I sat beside him, and then I met him again, and he remembered that event when they resurrected your statue there in front of the rink.
Well, that's all I know is when I wrote that book, Thunder and Lightning, they cut out 80 pages of the shit that I went through with Steinbrenner and a bunch of other people down here in Tampa because they were...
They didn't want Steinbrenner to sue you.
Yeah. And I said, well, fuck, they're going to sue me, not you. And the editor says, no.
No, they sued the publisher.
No, we get sued too.